Hi, everybody. This is Kathy Elkins with Premier Marketing. Thank you again for joining us. We have National Life Group going on for March, and we're going to be going over their whole life insurance today with their TotalSecure and their UL platform. And I have Sarah Phillips with us. Hello, Sarah. How's it going?
Hello, Kathy. It is going amazing. Thanks for joining, everyone.
I'm so excited. You just told me some information about your whole life, and I can't wait for you to share that with everybody. Can you tell everybody what's going
Absolutely.
on?
Sure thing. So actually, National Life was just named #2 whole life company in the nation. So big pat on the
Yay!
back for us.
Hey. I'm just going
Awesome,
to have you go
awesome.
ahead and tell everybody else all the exciting news you got going on.
Sweet. So this year will actually be National Life's 178th anniversary. So everyone talks about, 175 or 200 years. And I always like to do year by year because it's an amazing feat. So, being as old, if not older than some of the states here in the US, you think about National Life's history, it's not just National Life. We're truly ingrained in the fabric of this nation. So we've taken you before the Titanic and after 9/11. Keeping our promises to everyone and all of our clients is a really big step and part of our mission, vision, and values here at National Life Group. And what better way to talk about that than our whole life? So we are a mutual company. We're in the top 3 mutual companies in the nation. And if you're familiar or unfamiliar with what that concept means, it's we're owned by the people. Okay, we're not a stock-based company. So every person that has a whole life policy with us truly is a part of National Life and has a piece of National Life with them. So that being said, #2 whole life in the nation. Why? Well, we have the most customizable whole life. If you're familiar with the concept, it's really the guarantees of a death benefit. That's what the client's going to be paying for. Okay, you still build significant cash growth, but it's how you utilize the dividends that are gained with this policy. So, with our whole life basics overview, level premiums that do not change, it is a true set it and forget it. So, when we talk about who or what this policy or how it's designed and who it's for, we get a lot of great grandparents and aunts and uncles that love to provide the gift of life insurance. And we just ended February. It was Love Insurance Month, but I carry it throughout the entirety of the year. So, really providing that love insurance for your niece and nephew or for your grandchildren. But as those seasoned vets know, insurable interest comes into play. So, with a life policy, right, anybody could be the owner. But when it comes to, or anybody could be the payer, excuse me, when it comes to ownership, there has to fit insurable interest. So, sometimes those aunts and uncles and grandparents that want to provide that gift aren't the ones being a sole caretaker for that child. But in this case, again, anybody could be the payer. So with our whole life, the design that we see most often is a grandparent saying, hey, I want to pay this up in 10, 15, 20 years and know that it's going to be paid up. I don't have to worry about market fluctuation. I want something solid and guaranteed. This is exactly where you'll take them. So again, guaranteed death benefit to beneficiaries, guaranteed cash values that grow at a guaranteed rate. So when you're looking at an illustration, you're seeing those non-guaranteed values because it doesn't have the dividends attached. So the dividends are going to be on top of those guaranteed values that are on that illustration. Death benefit and cash values could increase due to annual dividends, like we just talked about. Death benefit endows if insured is still living at age 100. Okay. IUL, guys, 0 to 120. Whole life is going to endow at age 100. So where's whole life in the relative cost and how does it fit? So we know that term is going to be at the bottom when we talk about cost effectiveness. Okay. It's going to be the least amount of premium. In the middle, you're going to have IUL and UL. Then whole life is going to be just above that IUL. And we talk about that because it's the highest level of guarantees, guaranteeing cash value accumulation, and not relying on any index crediting. So again, you're getting what you pay for, and you're paying for the guarantees of that death benefit. So who is truly a fit for that whole life? So a fixed premium payment, coverage their entire lifetime. It's great for business owners too if you're wanting to do a key person policy. Estate planning needs, support a lifelong dependent, and pension cases. So the options are endless, and it's about really expanding your mindset than what you're typically doing. Folks, if your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. So keep on dreaming, right? So a unique whole life solution with TotalSecure. So for this, we got minimum is going to be 50,000 of a death benefit and 0 to 85 for issue. So offers our full menu of accelerated benefits. We talked about it in our last webinar that you guys saw. Every product that National Life offers has a suite of living benefits. I can't stress that enough. From term to perm, we're covering people not just upon death, but again, life insurance. It's life insurance you don't have to die to use. Our ABRs are particularly alone in their class in the whole life space. Again, the only company out of 727 in the entirety of the US that has what National Life has to offer. So, children's term rider, when it comes to additional riders, this is an amazing rider, especially if you talk about cost effectiveness, but yet someone wants the guarantees of a death benefit. Being allowed to put as many children as you want on a CTR children's term rider for that additional coverage. Now, let's cover that for just a moment. So 0 to 16 are issue ages for children's term, and it's 5,000 to 25,000 per child in a death benefit. Now, we went over term conversions in our last presentation, but the CTR has amazing conversion privileges as well. So you can take that death benefit from 5 to 25,000, multiply it times 6, and that is the max coverage you can get for that child converting. Now, here's the cool part. It doesn't end at 16. This rider lasts until that child is 25 years of age. Now, you can convert it for ownership beforehand. Let's say if that child, just turns 18 or gets married, they can convert that over into a permanent policy. But I can't stress it enough. 0 to 16, 5 to $25,000, and convertible for up to 6 times that coverage amount, and last until that child is 25. Some pretty great stuff. A guaranteed / additional insurance options, additional paid up life insurance rider, beneficiary insurance options, and then exchange to new insured rider. Now, there's the term conversion right there for you. So what is ART? It's annually renewable term. It has a place, and if that bridge comes, we're going to cross it together. Okay, not typically used. 10, 15, 20, and a 30-year term, and then accidental death benefit rider, and of course your waiver premiums if you get disabled. So we talk about dividend options with a whole life. I know everyone has at least played Monopoly once in their life, right? So you can take dividends in cash, you could apply them towards your payment of a policy. And this is when we talk about us being number 2 in that space and having the most customizable whole life on the market because of how you could utilize those dividends. Okay. It's not just a cut and dry. An IUL has flexibility, market dependency, ups and downs. You kind of keep track of all that and how it's functioning. You get similar leverage when it comes to a whole life in relation to how you're using those dividends and how they apply to your policy. Are you wanting excess cash value? Are you wanting to pay for your policy sooner? Or are you wanting to build extra death benefit utilizing those dividends? So multitude of ways to utilize those, especially with your flex term. So this is an interesting option that's made available on the base policy, and they require the payment of an additional premium for the rider. So this option applies the net rider premium, policy dividends, and any excess premium to purchase a blend of 1-year term insurance and paid up additions. So it's a combo. And if you're ever in the illustration, you'll notice kind of 2 terms when it comes to a whole life. You got your flex term and you have your term rider. Now, the term rider is just that. It's an extra additional coverage with a term duration period. When it comes to your flex term, however, it's a permanent chassis on that policy. So it's blending out that insurance cost, essentially making it more cost effective, dialing down the cost of the insurance for the client. So it is unique because of 2 features not found with any other whole life contract. So excess premium and then internal paid up dividend option. So think about that. Taking care of the client, expanding the ways that you could utilize those dividends is one of the biggest ways that truly sets us apart. Now, did you know TotalSecure's premiums are lower than many competitor products? Since dividends are largely premium driven, TotalSecure is a more efficient whole life contract that is less dependent on dividends to provide value than our competitors' whole life products. So, again, how can we make this more beneficial for the client? Dialing down the cost, but not really borrowing from Peter to pay Paul, right? So when it comes to your excess premium, it pays up a portion of that base policy, and no more premium is due on portions that are already paid up. And it still has accelerated growth of the cash value of that policy. Now, one of the more common options we see is the internal paid up option. So dividends can be applied to pay up the base policy. But keep in mind, dividends aren't a guarantee. It's based on company performance, but the good news, National Life has always been known to pay dividends every year. So, flexible premiums. This is what's interesting and really sets us up apart in the competitive space for our whole life. So, policies can be designed to pay up on any schedule. So, we talked about the grandparent or the aunt and uncle saying, I only want to pay for 15 or 20 years. You can't pay up an IUL. You can try, and sometimes it may work out, but it's not a market-based performance when it comes to whole life. So you could truly say, I'm giving you X amount of money for 15 years, solve for a death benefit, and guarantee that that's going to be paid up in that time, and that child or the insured will still have coverage all the way to age 100. As portions of the policy are paid up, the required premium does go down. Cash values of paid up portions are greater than the premium paying portion cash value. A client also has the ability to stop paying extra and make only the minimum payments in later in life. So that's another caveat too. So flexibility on your premiums, going down to that minimum from what you've paid. Okay. One of the things I love about National Life is going to be our e-kits for all of our products. So any info you want with that TotalSecure can be found on the agent portal in our e-kit section. If you want more info on that, just reach out to myself and I can definitely guide you through. Alrighty, guys. So one other thing that I want to go over is our basic secure. It's our universal life. So back in the spectrum of term, IUL, whole life, this is going to be in the middle section of a whole life and an IUL. This product is designed for someone maybe looking for a bit more cost-effective policy, but doesn't want a sole index performance when it comes to their life insurance. So it is a fixed rate that is set by National Life. So maybe changes once or twice, if that, a year. From what I've seen, pretty much just once a year. Doesn't really go except for a couple points back in either direction. And it's just going to be a more stable, level-headed sort of rate that that client can get. And the good news, it's customizable just like the IUL. A different couple of caveats when it comes to like your additional protection benefit and the amounts that you can do there, but it still has children's term rider, still has the other insured rider, and you better believe it still has accelerated benefits. So if you're ever coming across a client who wants still great cash growth potential, more on the upside, but doesn't want to be exposed to any sort of market performance, that basic secure or that universal life is going to be the ideal place to put that client. So it's a little bit of a brush over for that one. But again, the designs are super simple. And that's why you have a team here at National Life to help guide you through with any case designs or product questions that you may have. And again, it's not a one size fits all, folks. There's not one product that is better than the other. It's what are your clients' needs? And then come to us and we can work on designing the best fit for your client and finding the best product. So Kathy, I'm going to pass it back to you guys. I appreciate you joining me for the month of March. It's been amazing.
Thank you for joining us for March. I'm really excited. All the additional information you gave us this month with the IULs, your 3 different types of IULs hitting into your term, your living benefits, and now going over your whole life and being number 2 in the nation. That's congratulations on that. And then using your basic secure UL plan. Folks, this is a good company. This company has everything you're looking for. Those living benefits are strong, but being able to offer the whole life, the UL options that we just went over. This is another added value for why you'd want to be set up with this company. Give us a call today. We can help you get contracted. In most states, you're basically just in time, so you can write business at the same time you're getting appointed. So reach out to us. We're here to help you. Phone number is 800-365-8208. My team extension is 607. My personal extension is 207. Sarah, if they have any questions for you or have some sales ideas they don't want to run past you, how do they get a hold of you?
Got you guys. My direct line is 214-638-9311.
Thank you, Sarah, for helping us go through this whole month together. I'm very, very appreciative of you and National Life Group. So thank you for everything that you do for us. Everybody have a great day. Give us a call. We're here to help you out. Take care.
Thank
Bye.
y'all.